several countries, helping them enhance their research and learning processes. His expertise and insights will undoubtedly provide valuable guidance on navigating the publication process. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjay Rajan. Thank you so much for being here today, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Can we start?
Absolutely, sir. The floor
Yeah,
is yours.
yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. So thank you so much for inviting me for this particular interaction program, research scholars and uh, all the research participants who are the research scholars or the faculty members from the different parts of the India or the different locations. And thank you so much also for introducing me to your participants. It's a pleasure, honor for me to connect with all of you. And I will try my best to share some of the important insights what I observed during my personal capacity, during my own personal work, and also on my regular observations with the interaction with the different faculty, research scientists in India and around the globe. And I hope so. I think this is not a kind of I think is a training program for all of you. All of you are a researcher, scholars, faculty members. I hope so. Some of the discussions can be, you have already done lots of the research work and you have lots of the experiences in your own work, but maybe some of the points can be like a connecting dots for you. And from that perspective, I think some of the discussions can be important for you. So I'm just going to share my screen. You can just let me know if it is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I have allocated the topic publications process and criteria for acceptance in the high impact factor journals. Really, I think this is very, very important at this point of time to understand why you should think to get a publication in the high impact factor journals. As a research scholar, as a faculty member, I think you have invested lots of the time. Even if you have done your PhD work, surely I think you have invested at least 3 to 5 years in completing your all the research work and getting it publication. But when you think about what the impact you have received through your research work at India level or the international level, that can be a questions from where you can harness lots of the insight that what can be the new things that can be done. Why impact factor journals, understanding about the impact factor journals, and connecting with those journals can be important for that. During this interaction, we will try to just to understand what are the different uh, criteria for the impact factor, how we can access those impact factor journals within your own subject area or within say sub component of your research area. Maybe you are planning to publish your research paper. What are the different journals? What are the different things that is available? And what is the best practices for using the journal impact factor in deciding which can be the relevant journals for that? Uh, Related to that, what are the key criteria for your submission of the manuscript and the acceptance and the rejection is also some part of the discussion. I think many of you have already gone through this process, so you are aware about those things, but some of the things can be important for that. And what I observed that after interacting with the so many research scholars, what are the different things we need to take care of during the preparation of our manuscript and during the submission, and what are the different things we can do to get a acceptance in the high impact factor journals. Our research paper is not just a research paper. It is I think it is a kind of the ambassador for you when you have completed your research paper or the PhD thesis or whatever the research work you are doing in the different format. It is a kind of the ambassador of your personality, your character, your all the about yourself. And if your ambassador is not good, it is very, very important for us that whenever we are communicating through our research paper to the different experts who are in the editorial team, it should communicate in a very right manner. Otherwise, maybe your paper is very good and deserve to have a publication in high impact factor journals, but maybe due to something, it can be we can miss that particular chances to get a publications in those journals for that. So I think from the psychologically, when we are preparing for the research paper, I think our psychologists should be very, very clear that why I am publishing my research paper. My research paper is not just a collections of the 10 or 20 pages of the research, written document. It should have something beyond those 10 or 20 papers. It's a complete profile about yourself, which is going to be reflect through your research document. So if why why you are interested to getting publication in the high impact factor journal, I think the basic idea is that if I get a publication in the high impact factor journal, we got lots of the benefits. Maybe in terms of the recognition, I can get a recognition in my research area. I can get a recognition as a researcher scholar for the faculty member within our department, within our institution, within our society or the country. This can be the one important, I think, desire for everyone to get a recognition through our research work. Also, the another thing is that many researcher scholars have not any much interest to get a recognition for their research work. They want to just make their research work visible around the globe. And this can be possible only if your research work is published in the high impact factor journal. If you are publishing in a local journals, surely the visibility of your research work within a very limited kind of the audience, maybe some local basis or some of the regional basis that will. High impact factor journals are those journals which is consulted by around the globe. Like for example, we have a platform, Journal Citations Report. We are publishing the list of the impact factor, giving the impact factor to the different journals. And we are our audience is more than in more than 150 countries. So if you get a publication in some of the high impact factor journal, at a moment you are getting the visibility, your research was getting visibility around the globe, at least to in 150 countries. So this is, I think, great achievement for any researcher scholars who want to just make their research work visible around the globe for that. Also, many research scholars, I think many during my interaction with the many HOD head of the departments and the research dean and different research head, they are also trying, making a very hard efforts to get some of the grants for the research work, what they are doing in that particular thing. And many times, I think the percentage for getting the, if you see the percentage for the, or the ratio for getting the grants, it is very, very less. At least, I think around, if 100 people are applying for the grants for some of the research projects, only 10 people are getting the grants for. So ratio is quite, I think, low, and it is quite tough for getting the grants. Also, if you got a publication in the, if you have some kind of the profile to get a publication in the high impact factor journal, it is also helping you in getting some grants, grabbing some grants for that. We have a platform where we are displaying around $150 billion funding opportunity for the researcher scholars and the faculty member. But it is very, very unfortunate that from the India, I think 0.00001%, even that is not available. People are taking the grants from that particular amount of the 150 deal, from $150 billion. So it means that there is something gap in our research strategy, research processes, and I think maybe we have some less kind of urgencies. Our research work has less urgency in the high impact factor journal. Also, one important thing from the researcher's perspective, if you are a faculty member or research scholar, so maybe the HOD or maybe the some key decision makers for some universities or institution, it is important for you, for your survival, for getting more visibility. You should have some good collaboration with some organization at the organizations level, at the department level, at the individual level. But the question is that why other institution or other people would like to collaborate with you. Again, if you think for the collaboration, they will check your entire profile, and if they will not find any things effective, or maybe they didn't find any I think publication, your publication in some good impact factor journal, surely maybe the chances that they can ignore the possibility for the some right kind of collaboration. There are so many ideas, so many concepts why I think a researcher scholar should make your very hard efforts to get a publication in the high impact factor journal. So I think if we have a desire, if we want to just get a publication in the a high impact factor journal, I think it is very, very important to understand our research processes, because whatever the different research work you are publishing, if that is good, did- that can be directly related to your research process. If that is not good, that is also related to your research process for that. So I think if you see our the academic process, especially in the India, that we are most of the research work, most of the research paper are following these 5 different segments. We are starting our research work from the developing our topic, and then after developing a topic, we are trying to some of the identify the right piece of information to support our research work, to complete our research paper. We do some of the evaluation, analysis of the information, and then we write, organize, do the permutation, combination, the different pieces of information to write something productive to get a publication in some good journals, and then also do the citations for this. These are a very well-known process for that. I think this is not a very unknown things for anyone who are here, but your criteria for getting a publication in the high impact factor is going to decided by each and every step that is mentioned here. How you are developing your topic, what kind of topic you have selected, that is one of the most important criteria for deciding many times for getting a space in those high impact factor journal. Are you selecting a topic just as a normal topic where millions of the people are also trying to write a paper, or are you selecting a topic trying to identify write a research paper where nobody is working, or maybe very few people are working in that particular research area? If you have done some of the R&D, and if you have invested lots of the time in the developing a topic, I think your 50% work has been done. But the challenge is that, as per my observation, many people are not doing the good, I think, a good kind of the literature review. I spend time to identify a right topic for them. They invested in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years for completing a paper, but the amount of the time or the efforts they are spending on selecting the right topic, that is quite, I think, ignorant kind of things like that. They select the topic in a kind of the a blind way. They're not doing, I think, the amount of the time, amount of the strategy, amount of the analysis that is required for developing a topic, identified in a topic, that is, I think, a missing element in many of the research scholars. My recommendation is that, my, I think, observation is that if you are a research scholar, if you want to get a publication in the high impact factors journals, start to investing your time in developing a right topic for yourself. If you will not develop a right topic, trust me, it is very less chances to get a kind of the publication in those journals which you have a desire to get a publication in that. Another thing is that locating the information or identifying the right piece of information. It is also important that from where you are doing what kind of the resources you are using for doing the literature review. If you want to publish in a high impact factor journals, are you doing the literature review in high impact factor journals? Are you collecting the information from the high impact factor journals? I have doubt on that. Okay, many researchers, scholars have not the list of all those journals who have a good impact factor in the research area or on that particular topic where they are trying to publish. They are trying to do a literature review from some general sources. Even they are just focusing on some one particular journal. In many institutions, I found that many faculty members, many research scholars are stick to one or two journals, and they completed the research work and trying to get a publications on that. It is very, very important for as a research scholar that your list of the resources should be very, very diversified. It should also include, in India, I got a chance to conduct the program, visit different countries also, like the China, Korea, Japan, in different parts of the India. I found one differences in India and the other countries research scholars. In India, we are so biased about the peer reviewed journals, quite obsessed with the peer reviewed journal. We want to limit our all the literature review only within the area of the those journals which are called as a peer reviewed journal. This is, I think, quite a damaging thing for many research scholars. As a research scholars, we should not be biased about the sources of the information. Even as a research scholars, you need to just explore some of the newspapers, magazines, some of the wire feeds, some of the blogs that is written by some of the experts in your research area. I think if you can make your research sources of information more comprehensive, you will have a better chance to connect with more important information, more important concept and ideas that you can find in those sources. Maybe that is not the peer-reviewed articles also. Even when I was in a CSR, when I was working, it's my personal experience that my guide during that time, my guide has got one article that has published some of the magazines that was from the USA, and I was not aware about those things but my guide was aware that informations can be important for my work. And he advised me to Sanjay add this particular information, and it was a game changer for my projection for my work. By adding those concepts and ideas in my work, that has a tremendous impact on that particular. If I were a stick to only that, I have to only collect the informations from the only the peer review, or only from some particular book, or only from some particular journal. Surely I was not able at that point of time to get some impact for my work for that. Another thing is that when you are evaluating or analyzing the information for your research work, again you need to identify some of the right sources or tools through which you are analyzing the information. Many people are using some of the analytics, maybe they're not proper for that. You are not getting the complete kind of insight that can helpful for creating some of the unique kind of the insight from your research work. That is also very, very important for that. Next, when you're trying to write, trying to organize your all the information which you have collected from the different sources, it is important for, I think, for the researcher scholars to use some of the more, I think, right kind of languages, right kind of terminology, right kind of scientific terminology for that. If you observe your research paper, if you observe some of the research paper which is published in the high impact factor journal, go through the paragraph. You can identify that that paragraph has all the important scientific terminology that is related to that particular subject area. Like, for example, if you're from the management and if you've written some article on the management, is your research paper you have used all the important terminology that can be a part of the uh, business subject indexing? I think I'm very sure that many times you can find that your paper is missing those scientific terminology. Why this is important for you as a researcher scholar? When you submit your research paper to any publisher, first they will check those scientific terminology. They have not much time to go through all the paper, all your research paper line by line. They are getting 80,000, 90,000 research paper for even for a single journal, for especially for those high impact factor journals. And you can say how many people are in the editorial team, maybe 10, 12, maybe 5 also. And it is not possible for editorial team members to go through your all the papers. And at that point of time, they are looking at those scientific terminology which is related to your research topic, what you have just mentioned, or which you have mentioned in the abstract, or maybe the keywords which you have used. It is very, very important that when you're trying to write something, your writing, your document should include all the your writing should include all the important terminology that is related to the that is going to talk about your topic or your research area. Many research papers are not getting the recognition, or maybe editorial team is not impressed if you are not going to organize your sources of the information, like the you call the references, in very, very proper manner. Is a small error, in a small technical error in writing your or organizing your citation sources can be a damaging element for you. It is very, very simple. Lots of the softwares are available at this point of time you can use. If I think as a starting point at an initial phase, if you can take care of these 5 different segments very seriously, very honestly, then trust me, around your 60 to 70% chances will improve to get a publication in the good impact factor journal. This is the base, this is the soul of your research paper. This is the soul of all those things which can create a path for you to getting a publication in the high impact factor journals. Now, what are the different literature? Like, for example, you know that high impact factor journals accept the quality of the research papers. What is the quality for that? What do you mean by the quality for that? Quality, if you think from the quality uh, is related to the amount of the research intelligence you are trying to introduce through your research paper, introduce to a research work. And it again, it depends on the what kind of the research literature, what are the different literature you are trying to connect, what are how from where you are getting those information. If you are not using a good source of the information, then your amount of research intelligence can be quite less for you. So it is important for you that when you are trying to do the literature review, it should be from some high impact journals, high impact sources, or maybe the well recognized sources, authentic sources, so that you can be able to connect with, you will be able to collect the maximum amount of the research intelligence related to your research topic. And this is very, very important things for that. Your paper is going to rejected or accepted, that is directly proportional to the amount of the research intelligence or the projection of the research excellence you are going to showcase through your research. If editorial team is not convinced the way you have presented your research or amount of the research, and they are not going to accept your research. They can dump your research paper within just by just looking your research paper. It is important for that. So literature review is not meaning that just consulting the 1,000 research paper or 1,000 different documents. The main focus is that to connecting with the research and accumulating all those research and trying to just make some permutation and combination in those things according to your research topic and put them in your research. But that will be the, I think, a very initial things, very, very important things for making a base for acceptance in your in some of the good impact factor journals. And most of the research scholars are missing this element. They are trying to do, if you ask them, how many articles you have consulted? 100, 200, 300, 400. But what is the amount of research influence you have collected? Maybe they are completely blank on that. This is the very, very important thing. This is a question which needs to be asked from ourselves if I'm in process for doing some kind of the research work. Now, after going through some basic elements for this particular at the initial stage, then again we have to make some checklist before starting to write the research paper. It is very, very important for that. What is your intention? Why do you want to publish your research paper? If you see some of the important criteria for publishing the research paper, you need to identify which side you are here. Yeah. Are you just trying to publish a research paper because you have to just to complete your degree? I think at this point of time, UGC has made some kind of the relaxation for the PhD candidate, but before that, it was mandatory for you to publish 2 research papers. And many times, how you are publishing 2 research papers, that is always a question mark. You know your honesty, how you have just done or how you have completed that particular research work. I'm getting so many calls from many faculty members, and directly they are telling to me, "Sir, my department asked me to just to publish a research paper. I have to submit this research paper within a month. Otherwise, I can lose my job. Otherwise, I cannot get the promotions for that." They're in the pressure. They're not publishing. They're not trying to publish a research paper because they have to contribute something. They want to just publish research paper just to completing the formalities. Yeah, or maybe UGC is asking for to get a publication for every faculty member they have to publish, or every research scholars they have to publish some of the research paper as per the criteria for the educational system for that. Many people are trying to make a list of the publication only for getting the academic promotion. Yeah, many people are just completing their resume that yes, I have a list of the 100 different publications for that. What is your objective for? Are you in this category? If you are in this category or you are trying to get a publication, maybe 1,000 publications you can make. Trust me, not a single publication will be in the category for the high impact factor. Your intention is very, very important for very, very important. If your intention is not correct, if your purpose is not correct, is not related to the high impact factor journal, how this can be published in the high impact factor research paper, research journal? You need to check why you do want to publish paper. Other criteria can be also many research scholars, faculty member interested. They want to contribute something. They want to contribute in their research area. They want to make something new contribution in that particular research area. Something new, something interesting. They're trying to handle some of the important challenges the subject area is facing at this point of time. Like for example, at this point of time, artificial intelligence is coming is like a hot topic for that. Many research scholars trying to just identify some of the probable solutions through the artificial intelligence. Many people are also working on that. What are the different negative things that can be happen after implementing the artificial intelligence? They try to solve the problem. Their intention is quite right to just identify some of the right solution, identify some of the new scope for the artificial intelligence to improve the quality of the different works, different dimension in some particular research work. What is your intention? Why do you want to? Are you able to just getting some of the trying to solve some problem? Your research, most of the high impact factor journals, if you go to the background of those high impact factor journals, most of the editorial teams are accepting only those papers. Many research journals have this kind of the criteria where some of the researcher scholars have identified some of the very burning research problems or burning issues, and they have just identify some of the solutions through their research work. like during the COVID-19, many research scholars are trying to just identify some of the medicines, some of the different kind of the solutions for the COVID-19. And at that point of time, many research paper has got published in the high impact factor journal by for those research for those who have just identified some of the solutions for that. This is a very hidden thing. This is not very visible when you are trying to when you are engaged in the research. But this is the most important thing. You need to take care of that. What is your intention? Why do you want to publish your research paper? If you're on the this particular side, trust me, you are not. I think maybe you get or not, but you should not get a publication in the high impact factors. If you are on the green side, surely you should get a chance to get a publication in the high impact factor. You need to just observe your intention, your purpose for getting a publication in the high impact factor journals for that or not. So my recommendation is that if you are a researcher scholar, if you are investing some time to getting a publication, be always in the green side so that you can get more satisfaction. If that is accepted, even that will be not accepted, you will be always satisfied that yes, you have done some great work that can be. I recommend to watch a videos. That is a, I think you know about the in Mahabharata there is a character Karna, and it was I think he was one of the most I think important warrior at that point of time. But he always dissatisfied that I didn't get that kind of the recognition what I deserve for my talent, for my knowledge, for my skills. And he asked some of the question from that Krishna that why I didn't get that kind of recognition. Even I am one of the best kind of the a skilled person in my field. And I think it's very important conversations for that. I'm not going in details for that, but I recommend that you can watch as a researcher scholars and see you can identify some of the lackings in your motives, in your intention, in your research processes. And trust me, if you correct those things, your chances will be improved for getting a publication in the high impact factor. Very, very important thing, very basic thing, very hidden thing, very psychological thing, but that is impacting the possibility of getting a publication or rejection in the high impact factor journals for that. So what is the impact, high impact factor journals? Yeah, I think if we want to something get publication, or maybe if you want to achieve something in our life, I think my perception is that we should know the complete DNA of that particular thing. If I want to publish a high impact factor journal, many times I observe that if I ask that what is the impact factor journal, they can say this journal has a impact factor 10, 12, 100, 13. Yes, this is very high impact factor journals. But there are certain things you need to also know about the digits that is displaying on some of the journals. That will be good for us because if we have a complete profile, complete information, complete DNA information of some of the journals or about that particular criteria, it can be always helpful for you to identify the right journals for you. So high impact factor journals generally categorizes those journals in any specific research area or within the subcategory of some of the research area who have got a very high impact factor. Most of these journals are indicating that means high impact factor journals means those articles who have published in those journals have got the highest number of the citations, good number of the citations for those articles who are a part of that particular journals. Means those articles who are written by some of the authors are quite a good article, quite a high impact kind of the articles. People are benefiting from those articles for that. And mostly this kind of the publishing the publishers or the editorial team always trying to identify those authors who are trying to contribute in that particular context, so that because this is also a business side also, why a editorial team, why a journal, why a publisher will accept your paper who can damage the ongoing impact of the particular. Everyone wants to increase you want to increase the impact, publisher also want to increase the impact for those journals. So if you want to get connected with that, surely you need to raise the impact of your research work that may be showcased or reflected or projected through your research work. Then only I think that can be important for this particular perspective. Also, it is important to understand the necessity to understand about the some of the basic ideas about the high impact factor. At this point of time, why we need to focus on those to high impact factor journals, because the other side is that around 48,000 plus scholarly journals are publishing at this point of time. I'm not talking about the journals, I'm talking about the scholarly journals. But still, I think only having a name that it is a scholar journals, it is not the right kind of the journal. It may be not right kind of journals for lots of things are happening. Manipulations are going on with some of the journals. Many authors are manipulating. Many journals, journals owners are manipulating things like that. So I think as a researcher scholar, it is important for you to understand what are the some of the elements for this particular high impact factor journals. Many unethical things are also going on, and uh, they are trying to add those things like the one word that is used, the predatory journals. Many things are involved in there. I think you are well known about it. I'm not going in the discussions for those things there, the, but the important thing is for as a research scholars is that I should be aware, you should be aware that only having a name for the scholarly journals cannot be the right journals for you. We need to be aware that what kind of journals you are selecting, what kind of journals you are using for the literature review. This information is important from the literature review perspective. If you are consulting some of the journals for your literature review, you should be aware that what kind of journals you are using for your literature review. It may be predatory journals, it may be a high impact factor journals or not. It is important for you to understand some of the basic things for that. Many, I think, elements are related to them manipulating. Many people are publishing the research paper in some good journals also by using the same data, by using the data in some different kind of the pattern, and trying to publish some of the journals. And many times they got the acceptance for their research papers. Many people are just trying to do some of the unethical things by just citation, giving a very wrong kind of the citation for that. Many things are working on that. If you are citing my research paper, as a morally, I'm also citing your research paper. This many things are going on. So it is important for that. Many data fabrications are going on. Many things are related to that, like a payment based citations. Yeah, if I need a citation, I can pay to someone who can cite my research paper, or you can pay something, you can write your research paper. Yeah, many people are involved in that, writing a research paper on behalf of you. In Bangalore, so many companies are working who are writing a research paper on behalf of the faculty members, and faculty members are using their services. What kind of research paper they are just I think these are many things are working for that. Those papers who are publishing from this unethical practices, maybe they got accepted for some of the in some of the journals. If they have a tagline for their scholarly journals, that can be damaging for you. Yeah? So this is the reason as a researcher scholars you need to understand some of the ideas about the impact factor journals for that. Now here Clarivate is playing a very important role where I am working, and Clarivate is one I think organization who have a high focus on just providing a right kind of the list of the journals who have a I think ethically have a very good impact factor. uh, why this journal is good, why some of the what are kind of the right kind of criteria for identifying the right journals for yourself, because you have not time, you have not that kind of expertise to how identify the right journals for you, because you are getting a tagline as scholarly journals. If you search on any databases on the Google, you can find the name, it is a scholarly journals. But you have not the background that why this kind of journals should be a scholarly or not, why this kind of the journals should have this kind of impact or not. Clarivate is playing very important role. And wherever you see the impact factor on any particular website, either you are using the LGBR or maybe the IEEE or maybe any particular publisher's platform, there if some of the impact factor is displaying on some of the journals, that is coming to the journal citation report. And journal citation report is our product, Clarivate product, which is publishing the which is giving the impact factor to the different journals. Yeah, so if you have the some ideas about the journal citation report, that can be really helpful for you to identifying some of the right journals for you. Maybe you have not the access, maybe many of will have not the access for the journal citation report, but at least you should try to explore that what is the journal citation report, what are the different things related to that, so that you can be in the you cannot be in a place so that some people can just confuse you or misguide you to publish your research paper in some wrong journals. Another thing is also one challenge of the research scholars that if as if you see your personal capacity for reading a complete research paper. I'm not talking about the partial reading. I'm talking about the complete research paper, very serious kind of the review of some of the research papers for your own research. On an average, per the analysis, in a year we can just read around 200 articles, yeah, and that is around just 0.4% for that. Again, this particular there is a relevancy for the high impact factor is that list of the journals is that you need to focus. You cannot go many journals. You cannot go to the many journals. You need to be just focus on some of the limited list of the journals which can be important for limited source of the information, which is quite a good, which is quite a authentic, which have a great impact in that particular research area. From that particular perspective, this impact factors can be important for you. Now, this is the year 2024. Just before a month, a General Citizen Report 2024 has been published, and some of the new things that can be important for you, I think, as a researcher, scholar, as a faculty member, you should be aware about those things. In 2024, 21,848 journals has been allocated some of the impact factor uh, from our team, and our analytical team has then evaluated or analyzed all those journals from all the different quality criteria, and then some of the right journals or good journals has been identified with their impact factors. And in the science category, if you're a research scholar from the science, around 14,000 journals will be available for your references. For the social science, around 7,000 journals are available. In arts and humanities, more than 3,000 journals are. These are the different types of the journals, number of the journals that is available where you can find a scope to publish your research paper. If you are from some of the subject, like if you are from the social sciences, arts and humanities, you can just have a chances to get for your publications also. Even many research scholars are trying to get a publication in some specific country-based journals also. So we have covered this time around 112 countries worldwide, and we have evaluated all the journals. Total subject area that has been covered in year 2024, that is 254 subject area. You can, if you have this particular information, that can be helpful for you. And some of the changes has been done last year in 2024. There's impact factor or general citation report has some different criteria. Now in this 2024, we have just changed some of the criteria. We organize them, consolidate some of the criteria for putting for making it more simplified for the research scholars. And you see here, like previously in 2024, for the history subject or economics or some of the subject area, they are getting some of the multiple subject categories for that. But now in 2024, we have consolidated different criteria for the some specific subject areas, and now it is more organized, more, I think, better perspective from the researcher's perspective. Now you can feel more, I think, a simplified way for getting ideas, getting the informations related to your subject area. What are the journals available in your research areas for that? Also, many with this particular new implications in some of the journals, some of the subject criteria, it is now more, I think, better perspective. You can find more better perspective for the journals, because many journals are can be applicable in the different subject area also. Yeah. If some of the subject area, if you see here, like for example, this is General Public Environmental and Occupational Health. This journal is also indexed in the Social Sciences Citation Index, and this journal is also indexed in the Science Citation Index also. Yeah, you can have a better perspective in which context you are doing the research work. Is your, if this is your topic, is your research in context of the scientific field, or maybe it is a social sciences field? If you are getting a publication in the social, if you want to get a publication in the high impact factor journal in the social sciences category, then you have this kind of a list of the journals for you. If you want to publish your research paper related to the scientific science, then you have this kind of the list of the journals for you. And then I think this is a very, very important thing. Means if you have a journals only related to the public environment and health occupational, it is important not that this particular journal has some high impact factor. It is important that which citation, which subject areas where you want to publish, and accordingly you need to identify the list of the journals for you. If you have not the access for the journal citation report, then how you can access with the other platform also? If you have the Web of Science platform, then also you can get some of the metrics. You can check with your library, your institute. If your institute has the access for the Web of Science, maybe some of the journals you can get the impact. We have started to add the impact factor journals reflecting on the Web of Science platform also. If you have the Process platform, now we are also started to display from 2024 the impact factor and the general citation indicator. Like for example, if you have a Process management resource databases in your institute, you can also get the visibility of the impact factor and the general citation indicator. If you have the Lavish software like the Alma, then also we are displaying the impact factor in those journals which are indexed in that particular Alma platform. So you can access some of the information related to the impact factor journals for the different platform, but JCR is the ultimate source of information for the impact factor for your journals. But I think many institutions have not the access. They have the some of the product like the Web of Science Process, but you have the access for that. If your institute has the access for this particular platform, and you want to understand how you can just identify some of the sources, information related to the impact factor, you can contact to us. We will help you in that getting the awareness on that, how you can just utilize this platform for this particular information for that also. Now, some of the basic ideas about the calculation can be also helpful for you to identify some of the journals which can be more accurate for your research topic according to that. If you see I think this is a calculation, very popular calculation, you know about that. In the journal impact factor, we are calculating the last 2 years citations and also. So in this particular calculation, if you see here, means it is a clear indication from this particular calculation is that we are connecting with those journals who are getting the maximum citations for the publications which are getting published in those journals. So it is important for that. If this insight can be helpful, you can just have a kind of the calculation there. Now here is one important click is that many times when we are looking for the impact factor journals, we are we are we are uh, we are taking this information in very one-sided form. Yeah. Now, if you know about the self-citation is also one important concept which people are using the self-citation for their own articles. So it is important for you to also understand that I think as the more better perspective is that you should check those criteria of some of the journals who have the more better I think citation without the self-citation. Yeah, that is a I think more important for you if you are going to select some of the journals who have better citation without which have the less number of the self citation and have a better projection in without very so that can be important for you. That is the I think but most of the researcher scholars do not I think care of this particular information also. So I think if you are selecting some of the journals for you, try to identify some list of the journals which have I think more better projection and which have the less number of the self citation. Another thing is that when you are selecting some of the journals who have a in the category of the I think good impact factors, yeah, you have selected some of the journals and you can see that yes, this journal has a impact factor 10, 20, and you feel happy that yes, this journal is quite good for that. But one important thing is that if you decided to get a publication in some of the important journal, it is also important for you to understand the trend of the impact factor for that particular journal. Like for example, I have taken a one case study for you, Journal of the Financial Economy. This is a journal who has good impact factor for the journal, and I'm tracking this particular journals from 2019 to the 2020-23, and I'm very happy to see that this particular journal has a continuous positive positive metrics for the in terms of the impact. It is continuously increasing. Impact factor is continuously increasing from the 2019 to the 2030. Many journals which you have selected for publication in the name of the impact factor journals, you can find that many journals have a decreasing kind of the pattern in their impact factor. It is a red signal for you, red alert for you that should you select those journals which have a decreasing kind of pattern for the impact factor. I think you should not select those journals. You should always select those journals for your publication who have a increasing pattern for the impact factor so that you can get more better visibility, more better recognitions for that. Means those publishers or those editorial teams are continuously, very strictly managing all the quality criteria for their journals. So Many times, if you are taking a blind decision, that is, if this journal has a 5 impact factor, 10 impact factor, so let us go for submit your publication in those journals. No, stop yourself here and just check that what is the pattern, what is the trend of the impact factor journals for this particular journal. Yeah, never ever go to think to publish in those journals which have a decreasing pattern for the impact factor. This is very, very important things for any research scholars for that. Now, some of the best criteria, best practices when you are using the general impact factor. Uh, in general impact factor, mostly we are providing the general impact factor, or we are giving a categories for the different journals, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, or quartile 4. These are the 4 different criteria we have created for those journals who have a good impact factor for journals for that. So when you are selecting some of the journals where you want to just publish in that, you need to also check that what are the different kind of criteria. It may be subject based criteria, it may be publications here, it may be the document type. There are many things that can be work for you, and you need to understand also the citation distribution for that. Citation distribution means if some of the journals articles has been cited by the different research scholars or different kind of the experts, where they are citing, are they citing in their peer reviewed articles? Are they citing for the review papers? Are they citing for some of the normal articles, or just the magazines articles for that? Where they are citing? Citation distribution is also important for to have a better understanding about the quality of that particular journals also. Like see here, some of the ranking is also important. Like for example, this journal, the same journals I have taken for the case study. This particular journal have a, if you see the ranking here, it is topmost ranking among the 231 journals. Yeah, this is the first ranking. But if you see from the same particular journal in the economics, they have the fifth number, fifth ranking in among the 597 journals category in the economics. Now, it is important for you that, for example, if you research related to the business or the finance or the economics, you cannot use the same kind of the metric. Maybe some other 4 journals are more better for you. Maybe this is best journals for you in this business and finance category. But if your research related to the economics, maybe the some other journals are more better. Other 6 journals can be more better for you. So these are the also some of the important metrics that when you are selecting some of the journals, try to identify those journals which have a quartile 1 kind of the category, then that can be quite helpful for it. You can get more better visibility. Impact factor has so many journals, yeah, but if you are going to select these journals from the quartile 1, that can be really great help for you. Now, one more important thing where maybe you are not aware, or many people are not, I think, taking care of this thing. That, like for example, I'm taking the same journals again for that. And if you see the citation pattern, citations distribution, then who are the different journals who are citing those journals? Yeah, like I already told, in publication industry, many things are working unethically. Like for example, if you are citing my research paper, I am citing your research paper as a gratitude that because you have given a chance to cite my research. This is also happening at the journals level. Many people who have opened a company to publish a journals, yeah, and they are trying to do this kind of the unethical practices for that. So it is important for you that if you are selecting some of the high impact factor journal, or maybe those journals who have some impact factor, try to understand what is the journal citation relationship. Meaning how many different journals are citing the articles that is published in this particular journal. You can see this particular graph, and you can see that around 20 different journals are citing the articles that is publishing in the journal finance economy. This is a good sign. This is a healthy sign that different set of the journals are citing the article that is published in this particular journals. In many journals, if you can see this particular pattern, you can find just 1 or 2 journals are citing the articles from this journal. That is a red alert sign again for that. Yes, that journal has an impact factor. But if you see the journal citation relationship with the other journals, that can be a questions mark on that. So my recommendation is that select those journals who has a good impact factor, but also the articles published in those articles is citing by the different set of the journals, different number of the journals, a good number of the journals, I can say that. Yeah, that can be a good, I think that can give you a good visibility to your research work. That can give a good credit to your research work. Yeah. So we have started to discussion from the high impact factor journals. They get a desire to get a publication in the high impact factor. But within the concept of the high impact factor journals, there are so many concepts are working behind that. And I think as a researcher scholars, you should be aware that which journal you should be, uh, which journal can be selected for your, or deserve, which journals can deserve to get a publication of your research paper. Also, one important criteria is that if you're selecting some of the journals who have a good impact factor journals, try to understand from one angle also who are the different organizations who are contributing research paper. Like for example, maybe uh, you are from management subject area, or maybe you are from the technological subject area. Yeah, if you have selected some of the journals and you are trying to get that, like the management Harvard University professors are publishing their research paper in that particular journal, MIT Sloan professor are publishing, or research scholars are publishing their research paper in that particular journal. You need to focus on those things. If some of the journals, can you mute, please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So as my recommendation is that when you are selecting some of the journals for your publication, try to understand their author affiliation also. Who are the authors, from which institution they are publishing, contributing their research work? If some of the not well known, I think why you should try to get a publication in those journals. So this criteria is also very, very important for you. That another criteria is also, I think you need to also take care of those things, that which country is contributing, from which country this particular journal is getting the publication. Are they getting from the Nepal, or they are getting from the Pakistan, or getting from Bhutan, or they are getting from the USA, England? You know the criteria. Like for example, USA is quite well known research for the research in some of the scientific area. Yeah, top institution, research institution like the NASA is there. Yeah, MIT is there, California University is there. They are the pioneer in some of the research areas. If they are contributing some of the articles, some of the research paper in that particular journal, surely I think that is a kind of the indicator that is this journal will have some good quality for that. Yeah. So only getting a only selecting a journal based on the sum of the digits, that is not perfect. I think a comprehensive kind of idea to select the right journals. You need to select a journal based on some of the basic idea which I have just sharing with you. Now, you have a question, maybe you have a question that why I should trust on this list of the journals which are coming from the through the journal citation report. Yeah, there may be a question. It should be a good question. It should have a question. You should have a questions on that. Like, what are the different criteria we are using to select a journal for indexing in the in the web of science? Yeah, and so if you see here, we are using around 28 different criteria for evaluating a journal. If any journals, if you are getting in the journal citation report, if they are not following this particular criteria, we cannot index in our platform. They need to fulfill all the 28 different subject criteria for getting a place in this particular indexing services for that. So our editorial, our expert team members are working continuously whole year to evaluate the different journals. You know that you have got some of the news that last year Hindavi journals has been de-indexed. Yeah, that was a great, I think, big news in the publication industry. We are very neutral. We are not publisher. We are not publishing any journals. We are completely neutral in this particular process for that. So we are rigorously in evaluating all those journals from the qualitative perspective, so that our researcher scholars, our faculty members can get a right information about any journals, and they can make a good decision that which journals can be good for them. Even this particular evaluation, if some journals has been indexed in the web of science or the JCR, it doesn't mean that it can be continuously be a part, permanently can be a part of the for the web of science or the JCR. We are always evaluating the criteria. If any journals, maybe this year has been indexed and maintaining the quality, but like I already mentioned, that many journals are losing the impact factor for that, because maybe there may be chances that they are not fit, they're not taking care of some of the quality criteria. If those journals are not getting maintaining the quality criteria, 28 criteria, in the long term, that journals can be de-indexed, that journal can be transferred in the different criteria. So we are continuously working on this particular thing. We are very neutral process. We are following very neutral process, very strict quality criteria evaluation to index some of the journals so that you can have a accurate informations for that particular thing. Before coming to the next part, I would like to just showcase some of the in online mode that this is the journal citation report platform. This is the URL, and if you will, maybe some of you have the access, or maybe you have some of the maybe you can just explore if you have not the access. So this is the journal citation report platform. If you come on this platform, you are getting some of the information, categorized information based on the country wise. We have the categorization of those journals based on the country wise, publishers wise, categories wise, subject category wise, and the journal's name wise. Like for example, if you want to check from the country's perspective some of the journals that is listed in your subject areas, then you can see here 112 countries uh, we have just covered here. And if you see the list of the journals from the different countries, like the maximum journals are coming from the USA, and 5,923 journals has been listed in the JCR. And if you click on this particular journal list, then you can get the list of all those journals that is coming from the USA, 5,923. And you can see here, this journals has the impact factor in kind of the thing. 503 impact factor for this particular journal. Now, if you are a research scholars from the medical sciences or maybe the clinical trials or the clinical subject areas, then I think this can be the right journals for, because this journal has a 503 503 is impact factor, and this is in the category of the quartile one. So these are the journals I can, as a researcher scholars, I'd like to prefer to select this particular journal. So sometimes if you're selecting some of the journals based on the country wise country indicator, that can be important for you. If you have some of the other, you are saying that all the journals is in the quartile one category and all journals are quite good. You can select any journals for that. But if you have a choice to select from which journals in all these 5,000, I think as a per your subject area, this can be selected by that. Yeah. So I think this, if you have this information, you will be in the right position to select the right journals for yourself. Otherwise, if you are seeing the number of the citations impact factors here, like for example, if you see this journal also 28 impact, that is a good impact factor journals for that. Yeah. But if there is a possibility to get a publication, my research is matching with this particular journals area, I can try in this particular thing rather than I can try in this particular journals for my research work. Another thing is that also we have a category publishers wise, and that is also a criteria that can be important for your as a researcher scholars. Like in many during my interaction with the different PhD researcher scholars, the faculty member, many of you have a kind of the uh, perception that is my research paper I will publish in the Elsevier, I will publish in the Taylor Francis, I will publish in the Wiley. And many of you, if you got a publication in the Wiley, you got maybe you have a different kind of the observations on that. Yeah, my paper is published in the Elsevier. Yeah, my paper is published in the Wiley. But even within that particular publisher, there are so many journals are available. Like for example, if you have decided to publish in the Elsevier, this is one of the best, I think, publishing platform for. If I click here, there are the 2,210 journals that has been indexed in the JCR. Maybe Elsevier has more than 2,000 journals. Maybe they have 10,000 journals or 5,000 journals. But among those 5,000 journals, only 2,200 journals has been listed in the JCR who have got some impact factor there. Now the question is that if you got a publication in the Elsevier, there is no need to be very happy that I got a publication in the Elsevier. Again, within that particular publisher, you need to select those journals who have good impact factor journals, or those journals who have some impact factor. Like for example, if you're from medical sciences, or maybe Lancet can be the one of the most important who have a impact factor on 98. Any things can be like that. Yeah, if your research work on some public health, this can be important journals for you. 25 journals means within the eligibility, a publisher's name cannot give a guarantee for a good exposure for your research work. You need to again do some kind of analysis that which journals within that particular publisher can be good for you, and you need to only select those journals which can be matching which can have a matching elements for your for your research work or research title. Many times you are quite, I think this is very important thing is that every researcher scholar has a different set of the subject area. Yeah, maybe some of you are working in the agricultural sciences or chemistry, physics, management, arts. So within that particular subject area, like for example economics and business, I assume that many of you are from the management subject areas. Like for example here economics and subject area, within the economics and business, there are the 21 different subject criteria is existing, and for those different 21 subject criteria, we have 3,400 journals are here. And if you click here, you can find the list of all those important subject area. Yeah, like for example, my perception here is that if you are a researcher scholar from economics and business, it doesn't mean that every journals can be relevant for you. Every journals can be most suitable for you. You need to go do the deep dive into the list of the subject area. Like for example, maybe my research in the business field is related to the economics only, or maybe my business related is only related to the ecology, or maybe the ethnic study. Like for example, my research related to the business and finance. Within business and finance, in this category, I have 231 journals. If I click on this particular 231 list of the journals, then again I have a list of all the journals who have a different set of the impact factor journals. Yeah, means again you have a kind of the new perception that only having a business finance journals cannot be a right journals for you. Maybe that journals has a high impact factor, but that cannot be relevant for you. You need to understand which kind of the journals can be relevant for you. Maybe for my research work, I am working in the corporate finance. These journals can be the best journals for me because this is a quartile journal. This has the 7.2 journals, 7.2 impact factor. Maybe it is better than the journals which have the impact factor 10.4, because your research is related than more better cover in this particular research journals. If you are going to select the journals only in the name of the high impact factor journals, you are going to doing something wrong. What will happen that, because you are aware that every journals has some of the scope of the publication, some of the guidelines, editorial guidelines you can find it. By mistake, if you have submitted your research paper in this particular journals, because in the name of that this is a business and finance journal, editorial team will surely look into research paper, and within a fraction of the second, by reading your abstract or the title, he can be identify that more you have submitted your research paper in a wrong journal. This is not suitable for you. This is not as per the subject area where you have just submitted, and you lost a good chance for getting a publication in that. Maybe your paper was so good, can be very perfect for this particular journal, but due to some kind of the lack of the awareness, you have submitted your research paper in this because this journal was a good impact factor, has good impact factor. I think this is a many research scholars are getting challenges after submission of their journal. They can face the rejection. Their paper was good, their effort was good, they're very honestly done the effort to write a research paper, but due to this simple error, due to simple lack of the awareness, he lost a great chance for getting a publication in some of the journals who are a part of the quartile one. This is a very important, I think, criteria. You should be aware about those. You should be take care of those things if you are really looking for a publication in the high impact factor journals. Your research paper, your selection of the journals should be exactly matching with the journals in which you are trying to publish your research paper. I will show some of the another tool also where you can identify the right journals for you according to your abstract, according to your title also. So if you are selecting some of the journals based on the name of the journals, based on the publishers, categories, I think this can enrich your uh, decision making power to identify the right journals for your publications for that. I hope so. Some of the discussion, some of the important information which we have shared here, we have discussed here, that can help you in taking a right decision for identifying the right journals for you. And this information is available through the journal. This is the only one platform, Journal Citation Report, that can be helpful for you. No other sources except the Journal Citation Report can provide the complete details about this particular journal. Now, again, if I want to just another thing is that one more important that can be information can be important for you. Like for example, you have selected some of the journals, maybe any journals that can be related to your okay, just like for example financial innovation. If I have selected this particular journals, this is a open access journal also, so I have selected this open access because many of you are trying to publish in the open access also. So open access journals, some of the open access journals are also a very good impact factor journal. It is important to not only to understand the DNA of the impact factor, but it is also important to understand the DNA of a journals also. And if you want to understand the DNA of any journals, then this particular page can be quite important. Journals page can be important for you. You can see this particular, I have just opened a journals, and I'm getting this particular journals has been indexed in the subject category here also, and this particular subject category also. You can see the complete details profile of this particular journal, comprehensive profile. What is the journal's performance? What is the impact factor for this particular journals? What are the different kind of the citable items that has been covered in this particular journals? What is the impact factor trends here? You can see here from 2019 to 2022, this journal are in an increasing phase of the impact factor, but in 2023, this journal has a decreasing kind of the uh, uh, in context of the impact factor. You need to look into that. You need to understand these particular things also. That what is the character, what is the pattern this journal is showing, what is the journal citation indicator for this, how many total citations this journal has received, what is the citation distribution, what are the different items of the citation that has been cited, what is the ranking of this particular journals in the different subject categories. Everything can be important for you, and that can help you in getting a right decision. You can see that this particular journal has a journal relationship. Around 20 journals are citing for it. I think this is a very good journal. This is generally in the open access, but this is a very good journal for publishing your good research articles here. And all these important informations can be very helpful for you. You can also understand the 5-year impact factor 6.8. That is very good criteria for this particular journals for that. I hope so. If you are trying to select the just some of the journals for your publication, please have some of the background research about that particular journal and then select. Do not go just only that this some of the journals has a impact factor. Understand from the publisher's perspective, understand from the country's perspective, understand from the subject category perspective, understand from the citations distribution perspective, journal selections perspective, then that can give you a complete landscape of that particular journal. And trust me, if you are looking for all these different types of the insights, you will be always in the right track for getting your research papers. Now, if you have just got some of the ideas about that, how some of the concept related to the impact factor journal, I think we got some basic ideas that now you have a clear kind of the idea that yes, what is the impact factor, and within impact factor, what are the different things that is working to identify right journals for your publication. Now you have decided, then how what are the next step for submission. I think you know that many of you have published your research paper, many of you have gone through this particular process, but some of the maybe some of the new researcher scholars are here. For them, that's kind of the information can be helpful for you. That first of all, when you are writing your research paper, before writing, even before writing, I am telling that you should have a clear idea that where you want to publish your research, who is the target audience for that. That is very important thing in that. Yeah, like you can learn from the Bollywood or Hollywood directors who are making movie. Before making a movie, before writing a script for the movie, they have a very clear idea that who can be the right audience, who are going to watch their movie. Yeah, and who is the right kind of actor who can be selected for this particular story. This is a great learning lesson for all researcher scholars. We are watching the movie for entertainment, but I think as a researcher scholar, you should see this particular activities from a different perspective. If you are spending some time on that, the article which you are going to write, who is your audience, is that should be very clarity on that, and accordingly you can also decide that where you want to publish. It is a in the kind of the category of the scholarly journals articles, or maybe just a short communication or just a review paper, you need to have a clearness understanding on that. If you will have the clear understanding, your effort will be, or your energy will be channelized in the very right direction for that. Otherwise, you can publish, you can write a research paper, you can submit blindly to some of the journals, and you can lose the chances to get a publication in that particular journal. Maybe if you the paper you have published or written, maybe that is perfect for the review paper, but you are submitting here. Maybe your paper is perfect for full articles you are submitting here. Many people are losing this many chances for the wrong submission and the wrong kind of the selection of the wrong audiences. Not they're not selecting the, I think, the right kind of the platform according to their research audiences for that. If you select a journal again, that do some R&D about those journals also. Yeah, it is important for you to go to the website of those journals, understand some of the criteria, what is the expectations for that. Yeah, in Harvard University there was a one research article that has been published on the seeking system. Very important word for the researchers called seeking system. And seeking system is one important criteria which can really always guide you or help you in identifying the right kind of journals for yourself. Seeking system means, for example, if I'm feeling hungry, I cannot just give a water to myself. I can need some kind of a solid food for myself. Yeah? If I'm feeling thirsty, I cannot give solid food to myself. I can just need some of the water, clean water for myself for that. Every journal has a some of the seeking system for them. And many times as a researcher scholars, we just select the title of the journals for a publication because that is related to your subject area. Understand their seeking system. What kind of articles they are looking from the authors. If you will have some kind of the R&D, please do the R&D, because getting a publication, the high impact factor is really tough, and many times rejection can be psychologically damaging things for you. So my recommendation is that go to the directly to the original website. Directly go to the original website, go explore the thing, explore the editorial teams, perception, expectation. And then one important thing is always understand that yes, you are a research scholar, you are a faculty member, you are a author, you are writing the research paper, but you are not writing this research paper for yourself. Yeah, like the movie director is making movie. Yes, he is the director, he is the creator of that particular movie, but he's not making movie for his family. He's making movie for the audiences, for the public. As a research scholar, as a faculty member, you are not publishing your research paper for yourself, for your family. You are publishing research paper for some of the audiences, and your editorial team is also one of the part of that particular audiences. Your research paper should be in context for that. Do not write a research paper as per your wishes. Write the research paper also to in context for those editorial team members, those audiences who are going to read your research paper. And this is one of the missing element in most of the research scholars. They're trying to research paper because you have selected a topic in some particular research area, and you got the authority to write a research. Yes, you got some of the authority to write a research paper because you have done the research. But the important thing is that you are not the audience, but you are writing a research paper for the audience. This is a contradiction. And this contradiction is also damaging many possible chances for getting a acceptance for the research paper in the different good or high impact factor journals. Change the direction of your thought process. Remove yourself. Add the picture of the editorial team. Add the picture of the journal. Add the picture of your audiences, and then start to write. Yeah, make make some of the wallpapers. Remove your pictures from there. Add the pictures of there if you're really a serious researcher scholars, if you are seriously wanted acceptance of a research paper in high impact factor journals. If you try to give a place for the thinking process for your editorial team, your audiences, then surely your every line what you are going to write in the research paper, that will be have more effective, that will be have more convincing for your audiences. And if they will go through your paper, they will feel more comfortable and more like-minded things in that particular research papers. Also, it is important for you when you are selecting some of the journals for your publication. Try to understand, like for example, I show you that the trend in the impact factor for that particular journal. You need to also understand the trend of that particular journal. Is the same journal accepting the same kind of paper before 5 years back, or some changes has been done? Many journals have changed the pattern for the accepting of the research paper. You need to understand. Now, for example, in last 2 3 years, artificial intelligence is getting a very high discussion among all the different academic faculty, even the editorial team also. Are this, is any journals editorial team members have started to accepting some research paper related to the application of AI also? Maybe that was not a part in the past 5 years. But if you just understand their trend, you can identify that some of the new research papers they are accepting with the new emerging areas of the research. You can identify that particular thing. This will be really a great help for you in connecting with the right set of the journals, right set of the editorial team members, and that can make a little bit easy for acceptance of your research paper. So it is important for you to understand the complete requirement for some of the journals. I hope so. I think for those who are the faculty members who know about, but for the new researcher scholars, it is very, very important for you. If you just enroll in the PhD work, please create your ORCID ID. It is very, very important for you. Even if you are a senior faculty member or the researcher, recently I am coming, I have conducted some program in some of the top universities, also in one of the IITs. And when we analyze the research paper published or some of the profiles from that particular institution, we find that many senior faculty members have not updated their ORCID ID. If you have created a ORCID ID maybe 10 years back or 5 years back, and maybe within these 5 years you have published 20 research papers, but your ORCID ID is not showing those latest 20 papers in just recent 5 years. For that you have not updated your ORCID ID, and that is, I think, you're losing some of the chances, you're losing some of the opportunities for that. ORCID is very, very important for every faculty member, every researcher scholars. Please keep it updated. If you have not created, create them. If you have created, please keep it updated for that. This will be really helpful for you. This is a kind of the Aadhaar card for you. Yeah. At this point of time, if you are going to some places, they are looking for your Aadhaar card, because this is unique identifications for you. ORCID is also playing a same important role for you. Please create, maintain this particular ORCID ID and update your ORCID ID on the continuous basis for that. Yeah, like for example, I told you that we have a platform where we have the $150 billion funding opportunity for that. And if you are trying to identify some of the funding opportunity for you, and you have not updated your ORCID ID or you have not updated your profile, then what will happen? If you have applied somewhere for the funding, that funding agency will check your profile, and if they will not find the complete list of the, I think, research work which you have published in the recent days, what kind of perception he will get? Surely he can, they are not going to consider for that. So ORCID ID, this is, I think, in my recent trip I visited from last month, I organized so many programs in the different university I personally visited. I identified the lacking thing in many universities, many institutions, with many research scholars. Try to make it more active for you. Another thing is that we try to understand the structure, expectation of the journals. It is also important for to understand the structure of the research paper. Maybe you are from the management subject, some of you are from the finance, some of them from the science and technology. If you are writing some research paper in some particular research area, try to understand the a structure of those research paper which has been accepted in those journals where you have a dream to get a publications for that. And do not play with those structure, because that is a kind of the structure developed by, recommended by those editorial team members. Do not do R&D in that. Do not try to put your mind in that particular thing. Whatever the suggestion, whatever the recommendation that has been, whatever the format that has been provided by the editorial team members of that particular journals, As a guidelines, please follow as it is as per their structure. Because again, I'm just telling you that maybe they are getting the thousands of the research papers. If publication is good, if journalist is good, they are getting 90,000 publication. There is very less chances that they can get enough time to review your paper. If they can find the paper is not in proper format, maybe it is go against you, and that can be a wrong decision for you. So always follow the format. Always make a actual make your research paper, develop your research paper in the actual format provided by that particular editorial. That's why, and all these informations are available on the website of that particular journal. At last, many important thing is that plagiarism is very very important. Integrity is very very important thing. It is very very important for you to be honest in your research paper, in your research work. And lack of honesty. Recently, I have conducted a program in IIT Dhanbad, and around 200, I think, faculty research scholars were there. And one of the research scholars has asked one question that because I got a chance to visit so many countries, what is the differences I'm feeling and observing in the research scholars from those countries and from the India? And my answer was that simple: lacking of the honesty and integrity in our country. That is a major issue for we are taking the content from some of the different research paper, different platforms, and we are not trying to code those sources of the information. And I think this is a kind of the stealing. You are just like a thief. You are taking the information from different sources, and you do not even think to code the right source of information for them. This is not a very small issue. This is bigger issues in India, and that's why every university has to purchase a plagiarism software. Most of the top university have this kind of the software. Before, if you see the market scenario before 10 years, this kind of the practices was not there. Maybe at that point of time, but that was not required. But why this kind of things has been required at this point of time on the urgent basis? Why publishers has make it mandatory that you have a plagiarism report also? You have also submitted add a plagiarism report for that. This is a major thing for 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 I think among the research scholar. If you are a research scholar, if you have decided to go in this particular profession, academic profession, why we should be dishonest with myself? I should be honest with my profession. I should, if I'm taking some of the support, even in the normal life, like for example, if you offer a cup of tea to me, if you offer a cup of glass of water to me, why I should not say thank you to you? We say thank you in normal life. If some authors are contributing or helping in my research work, why I should not cite the research work? I should cite in very, very honest way. Many people are engaged in that. They are taking the data, fabricating their data, and make their research paper. Yeah, even without accepting the contribution from those authors. I was conducting in a session one of the top medical colleges in Delhi, and one of the faculty member asking that, have you this software? Have you such kind of software which can make any research papers? Like for example, if you have taken some of the content from some of the research paper, can it convert in some of the way that no plagiarism software can identify that it is plagiarized from some other source? This is perception. This is thinking. You are in a doc. You are in the doc. You are a doctor. You are in the top medical colleges, and you are looking for that kind of solutions for that, which can just make your illegal, unethical research work into a ethical things like that. This is it. I think if you have this kind of mindset and you are trying to have a desire or dream to get a publication in the high impact factor journals, I think as an honest researcher scholar, you should not think to publish your research work. You should stop yourself. Why there is an urgent need to get a publications for yourself? If you are not honest, honesty is one important thing for that. And this is lacking at every level. So I think very very important thing is that if you will be if you are doing very honestly the things, literature review, you will be always in better position for that. Even many I attended many conferences, and when I see the paper presentation from many research scholars, I do not see the confidence in them. He has researched 2 or 3 years on the same topic. His percentage is on topic. The way he is speaking on the topic in the conferences, That is very poor confidence. That means he has not a command on that particular topic on which he has done a research. He has not written an essay. He has done some research and then make a presentation on that. Even he is not able to confidently present his research in the conferences. He is not able to answer some of the question in if somebody is asked related to the research. That is a clear indication that you have not done your research work very honestly. You have done only for the formalities. And again, I'm telling that if you are doing this for the formality, please do not think to publish your research work in the high impact. This is insulting for this particular academic processes for that, because if your unethical things can be published in some of the research, good research paper, it can be damaging for others also. So I think as a academic researcher scholars, if we are honest, we maintain our honesty and integrity, many things can be uh, will be easy for you. So we should be very strict to that. Another thing is that, like for example, the consequences is also not good for that. In Pakistan, one of the vice chancellor has done this kind of practices, and he had just copy and paste one of the students' research paper, and now he is in jail for that. So it is. I think it is a if something we are doing, we should try to do it very honestly. We try to take care of all those things. That it should be your work. That is the one important conditions for that. Now, one important thing is that rejection. I think this is a major pain for many research scholars. That I think the different things which we have discussed from last 1 hour, if we can take care of those things, I think you will not go in this particular painful process. But maybe some of the chances that your paper has been rejected, your paper has been maybe not considered for the publication. So if we have some kind of understanding, that that can be also helpful for you, and maybe we can take care of those elements before submission or during the preparation of the manuscript for that. There may be the different reasons of the rejection for your research paper. Many things can be possible, or many things can be on biased basis also. Maybe the editorial team members have some biases. Your paper is very good, they can be rejected for also. Maybe he has not going through your paper in very deeply, very superficially. He has take a decision about your. Many things can happen for that. But some of the things, if we can just take it, the major reason can be categorized in two different ways, like the technical region. One is the technical region, one is the editorial regions for that. One of the most important reason in the technical section, a technical category, is that whatever the data based on which we are trying to prove that yes, this is my research, this is my outcome, this is my conclusion, many times the data is not complete. Many times data is not accurate. Based on very small sample of the data, you are trying to conclude, you are trying to come on some of the conclusion for that. Like for example, if somebody is doing research on that the women's health and condition in India, and you have just taken some of the samples from the Delhi metropolitan cities, and you are trying to present a report that yes, women health and condition is quite good in the India, and you have just prepared a research paper on that. That can be a partial kind of the data you have collected from some particular segment, from particular area where people are quite developed. If you want to make your data and on a studying on the women's health and condition, you should also try to collect data from the villages, from the remote areas, from the hilly areas. Go to the Uttarakhand and see how women are suffering, those who are in the hilly areas. Go to some of the villages where many women have not the basic health facilities there. Go to the different girl schools where even they have not a basic facility for the girl childs. And you are proving that with some of the sample data, a small set of the data that is India is have this kind of the no. This is the wrong practices for that. If you are trying to manipulate some of the outcomes based on some small set of the data, this is not a good practices for that. And then if you're done this and trying to and expecting that high impact journal editorial team should accept your research paper, that is a fooling yourself. That is fooling myself. Your data, the major reason many research papers are rejected because your data is not talking the same thing which you have written in the research paper. That is if data is telling a different story than the actual situation of that particular research area, that particular research element. So when you are trying to prepare your research, when you are engaged in the research work, do not play with the data. Do not damage the data. Be honest with your data. Then you will be able to make a paper which can be acceptable, more accept chances for the acceptance among the individual team member. Many times, whatever the different analysis you are doing based on your data, that is also not very perfect kind of thing. That is very, very kind of the poor analysis of those data for that. Data, if you are, I always tell you that, I think when I was first introduced in the research, I'm so grateful for my research guide, who is still a senior scientist, very senior scientist in the patent, in the CSIR. He has given one important line to me. If you are trying to do some research in some of the area, you should try to understand the journey of that particular research area. If you try to understand the journey, then this kind of analysis, poor analysis cannot happen with you. You can have a complete kind of the data for you. You kind of a very kind of good analysis for you. Like for example, if you have a friend and today he has maybe not behaved properly with you, and within a second you got a conclusion that is my friend has changed, he has given a very wrong kind of the behavior, so showing wrong kind of the behavior of me. This is a partial kind of the observation. But if you see the background of that particular friend or person, what has happened with that particular person? Maybe some of the bad things has happened in his family. He is in trouble, and you're trying to take them in the different direction. He is annoying from that, and you are making a conclusion based on just an instant interaction with that particular person. You need to have a understanding about the complete journey of that particular topic. If I'm doing a research, for example, on the solar energy technology or solar energy, for example, I need to understand the complete journey for that particular solar, from which year, which author has coined this particular, who has come with this concept. Like for example, nanotechnology is very one of the popular things among us. Do you know which industry is the highest user of this nanotechnology? Medical sciences. And imagine that particular researcher scholar, first researcher scholars who have coined this idea that medical science can also use the nanotechnology in developing the medical devices. This is the kind of the analysis. This is the kind of the interconnecting analysis that will be required. Whatever the data you are generating, whatever the survey you are doing, whatever the different processes, research method you are adopting for completing your research work for that. Many times, whatever the when I now in these days, many universities have started to organize some of the conferences. I got a chance to participate in some of the conferences as a speaker also, as a participant also. And when I just observe those participation, those discussion that is happening in that particular conferences, I feel quite. I do not feel good. It's I feel that is not a new kind of things that is discussing in those conferences. People are just talking a very, I think, outdated things on that. Nothing new ideas are coming through that particular conferences on that. Means in those conferences who are presenting the research paper, they are not coming with some new ideas. Yes, your paper has been accepted in that conferences. Your paper has been accepted in some of that. But what is your new ideas? What are the new solutions you come up with that? That is missing. Just you are manipulating the data. Just you are trying to make a just a research paper. And I think if you can change this, that you cannot go think for a publication until or unless you will get some new ideas, new solution for some of the research problems. It is important for you. If you can identify this particular, if you can make a kind of the integral part of your character, integral part of your research system, that is, I will think to publish one research paper, maybe only one research paper in my life, but that should have some kind of the new solution, new results, new insight, new perception for that research area, for those editorial team members who are who is going to read my research paper, for my audiences who are going to read my research paper. Yeah. These are some of the technical reasons we need to take care of so that our paper cannot be rejected from that. Some of the editorial region is also responsible for the rejection of the research paper. Like I was on the JCR, I was telling you that maybe your research paper is very, very good, but you have submitted your research paper in wrong journals. Maybe you have not done some of the R&D that which journals can be good for you. In many cases, I identify that because some of the PhD research scholars are submitting their research paper because their mentor has told them that, Joe, go and publish in this particular journal. You have not done your R&D. What is the guarantee that your mentor, your faculty members are is a perfect? Nobody is perfect person. He has also not much time to do R&D that which journals can be good for you, because he has to engage to complete your PhD work. So he has assigned the mentorship for your work. This is your research work. This is your baby. You need to do R&D for yourself. That which journals can be good for your publication. If your mentor is advising that yes, you can publish your research paper in this particular journal, do some R&D, come with five more list of the journals that you can discuss with your mentor. Sir, these are the five more journals. Maybe this can be the better a scope for my research paper. But how many PhD research scholars are doing this? They're blindly following the instruction they are getting from the mentors on that. But there is no guarantee that your mentor has that kind of quality that he can just give you exact right kind of information about your research work, because he is also in learning process. He is also in search for some new better things for that. You are on the same track. It is your work. Always, I think many research work is not getting the right destination because you have not personally done some R&D to identify the right journals for yourself. Yeah. Something is that many times that editorials team, I can see that I already told that editorials teams are sitting and daily getting some research papers for their journals. And he has a huge kind of the experiences on that what kind of research paper he is getting for his journals. Within a second, by seeing your research paper, he can be able to identify that your research work is but have something valuable for him or not. So that's why literature review is very, very important for that. If you are doing the literature review properly, then you will not, your editorial team will not have that kind of comment on your research paper. Many times, I think you are when you are completing your research paper, I think one element I'm always observing that is missing in many cases of many cases, that whatever the different lining you have used, different lines you was from the starting first line to the last line in your research paper, that is not well connected. It is kind of the that different pieces of the blocks you have put in your research paper and you have just published on. It is not creating a story. Yeah, a story has a flow. Your research paper, if your research paper is not creating that flow for the editorial team members, for the reviewers, you have a very less chances to get that your paper can be accepted for that. It is important for you that your research papers should have a flow, like you are saying, watching a movie. Yeah, and if you are watching a movie or watching a like the OTT series, web series, yeah, many times, like for example, many babe, if you have a babe series like very popular like the Panchayat season, if many of you have watched that, or many of people have completed the whole series of the that babe series in just in one night or one day, because you got a flow in that, because you got a kind of the connectivity in that. You do not want to complete, you do not want to stop yourself, you don't want to sleep before completing, before knowing the end of the story. Can your research paper create such kind of the curiosity among your editorial team members so that he can be motivated to read your complete research paper, like you are motivated to complete the whole Babe series in one night. You need to check yourself. You need to understand. You need to analyze that particular perspective also. If you analyze from this particular perspective, if you come from this particular perspective, trust me, you can be in better position. You can be in better chances that your paper can be accepted for that. In 90% cases, research paper has not that kind of the flow. You need to create a flow for that. Many things that if your everything is fine, your paper is looks very good, you are following all the guidelines, editorial guidelines, you have done all the different kinds of the followed them, but many people are manipulating the data. Many people are playing with the data, and they feel that editorial team are foolish. They cannot identify those things. They are in this particular industry from so many years. They can identify within a fraction of the second. You cannot play with them. And if my recommendation is that, again, I'm just coming on that. If you do not, like for example, during my travels, when I just use some of the cab services, yeah, and many times when try to talk with the driver, and the driver started to, sir, my company is not giving the enough uh, uh, amount price for the per kilometer, yeah. Many times they are canceling the different kind of the bookings. You also, maybe you are also using some of the cab services like the Uber, Ola, and you got a chance to talk with them. You can feel them unsatisfied. Yeah, recent. I'm just coming. I'm in the Gujarat at this point of time for a program, for a session in the. I'm Ahmedabad and other places for that. And I was in just cab, and my driver was just complaining that, sir, there is a strike for the Uber and Ola today. So I asked her, why this is a strike? So because we are not getting the enough amount for per kilometer for that. This is very interconnecting things for the research area also. You are doing research, you are unsatisfied research scholars, dissatisfied research scholars. If you are not eligible for doing the research, if you do not want to do the research with a honesty and integrity, why you are in this profession? Why you are playing with the data? Why you are fabricating the data? Left this industry, left this particular process. There is no need that somebody is forcing you to do the research. If I'm in this particular industry by my choice, I need to play with very honestly, not with the kind of the my choices. Whatever the best practices that has been decided by the editorial team for any particular journals, I need to follow them. Why there is need to play with the data, give some kind of the wrong practices in my research work. Yeah? Many research scholars are trying to submit the research paper in multiple journals also. This is happening. And you feel that they cannot know, your editorial team will be foolish. They cannot know that you have submitted your research paper to some other papers also. They are also in their network. They also have another level of the channels also. They can track that from how many journals you have submitted your research papers for that. Be honest, I think. Do not do this kind of the unethical thesis. There is no need to go for the multiple submissions for that. If until or unless you have checked all the different kind of the background, and then only if you are doing that, that is okay for that. But unnecessary, you cannot go in this kind of the unethical practices for that. Many things that is working for that, uh, uh, like the authorship, and this is, I think, very known practices that if you are a PhD student, you have completed your research work, or maybe if you are a research scholars faculty member, many times you are adding some of the authors who have even a zero contribution in that particular research papers. You are giving a gift to some person, some relatives, that is, I'm going to add as a authorship, third author, fourth author, second author, without having any contribution in that particular research work. This is really a very bad practices that is happening in our industry. We should not add any authors who have not contributed in completing that research work. But many times You are doing that. People are doing that. And trust me, some of the papers which has been accepted or maybe under the review for those editorial team members or some of the reviewers, they can also check the profile for those authors, because your profile is not invisible around the globe. Your profile is somewhere available. They can check your profile, that if the author which you have added is second author, third author, fourth author, what is the level of the that particular author. Many times such things are happening that you are adding some of the authorship for adding some person as an author who even not from your research area. He is from the different research area and you adding as a, this is also best some of the wrong practice that this, if your editorial team can identify some of the practices, they can not only reject your paper, they can ban you permanently to get a publication in that particular journals. If any dishonest practices he can be identified, they can ban lifelong for your publication in that particular journals for that. Be guidelines which has been created, which has been designed by those editorial team, they have a respect for those rules and regulation. It is in your benefit, it is in your interest that some of the guidelines is available for you. Some of the, when you submit some of the research papers, and many times they not reject directly, but they revert back to you with some of the corrections, some of the advice, that is you need to correct at some point, or you need to revise those things, you need to make it more better for some of the practice. And as a authors, many times you became panic. You became you have a sense of the disrespect for all those feedback which you received from some of the editorial team members. And many times when you are trying to answer those questions or those critics which you received from the editorial team member, that is not well respected, in not a well respected manner for that. You are not addressing all the question or concern that your reviewer has indicated in that particular thing. As a research scholar, be always humble. Be always in the gratitude that some person has reviewed your research paper and they have given some feedback to you. It's your opportunity to improve yourself. It's your opportunity to learn more on some of the mistakes which you have done and someone has identified for that. They are not your enemy. They are not they are not against you. They are helping you in making your research work more presentable, more better for that. So when you are responding your on the comments of editorial team comments, please respond with some respect, some gratitude, and try to answer all the points which is mentioned in his review. Another thing is that also even maybe it is possible that they can be wrong in some of the perspective, because you are the researcher, you have done a deep research on that. Maybe you have a different opinion than the editorial team. It can be argumentative kind of things, but if you have some kind of logical justification, that is these are the different logical validation that why you are right on this particular perspective, right in a very respected manner on that particular thing. Do not may go in against a insulting or kind of the aggressive mode for that. Be quite of a very kind of the positive way. You need to just accept those feedbacks, accept those criticism, try to learn from them, explore all those important information that he is looking from your paper, from he is expecting from you. Do this. That is very very important things that. Yeah, many times you submitted your research paper and like for example you adopted a research methodology type X, but editorial team has a view that maybe you have also tried to test in the research methodology type B or type Z. It can give you a new way to explore the authenticity of your research, practices of the research that you have tested, not only in one mode, but you have tested. Now you have to also test your research outcomes in some through some other research methodology also. They want this kind of the things, and you need to follow those that kind of things also. These are the, I think, regular processes, and you need to accept, revise them as per the without having any conflict with those advices. uh, Revise them, answer all the points, and if there is conflict, please answer with some of the more additional validations, logical justifications for that. Now, if you have written your research paper, you have completed your research paper. Now, after completing your research paper, again you have to come with some checklist for yourself. Like I just told you that there should be some checklist before starting to write your research paper. But there should be some checklist after completing your research paper also. Again, that checklist, maybe you can add any type of the answer. But the most important question is that have you done something new through your research work? Have some problem has been resolved through your research work? Have something new in your messages? Have you something beneficial for the audiences, those who are going to read your research paper? How something like that? Is it zero level or it is 10%, 20%, 30%? Some question, you can prepare your own question based on your kind of the analysis for that. But the important thing is that what is the contribution for your research work? Have some contribution in your own on that particular research area or not? That is the most important question after completing your research work. If you are getting answer yes, then you can think to submit your research paper. If you are getting answer no, please stop yourself, revise your research work, try to add something new so that it can be helpful for some other researcher scholars. Another thing is that, like, if you have completed your research work, again ask some other question from yourself. Can your research work, which you have completed, which you have written, which you have documented in 10 different pages or 20 different pages, can it be inspiring a story for others or not? Or just like a boring things, or just like a kind of formalities, or some kind of document which do not want, which other person do not want to read? It is one of the most important question for yourself. Your story, your research story which you have created in your research paper in 10 pages, 20 pages, that should be inspiring for others. That should be important for others. That should be beneficial for others. Yeah? If that is not beneficial for others, stop yourself again. Another thing is that if you have created some research work, you have done some research work, ask one more questions from yourself. When you will need to present your research work in some conferences or some at some places, will you be able to present your research work with a feeling of proud or feeling of confidence? If you can present your work with a proud feeling that yes, I have done something good, with a confidence with your work, then you are in a better position for completing your research work for that. This is a very important questions for yourself. Otherwise, you can be, maybe your paper can be accepted, but after 10 years, when you look into research paper, how many citations you have got, maybe it will be 0, maybe it will be 10, maybe it will be 5. You will not get some kind of the achievements through your research work. Recently, I think very interesting video I got that. I'm not sure this is going to be, your audio will be going to be visible to you or audible to you or not. But this is a clip from the one movie, Family Man, and very interesting, I think, clip for that. And this clip is giving a kind of the idea that how what is the meaning of the confidence for presenting your research work. And I think if you can watch this particular clip, really you can get an insight that how your research work can be little bit more, your presentation should be like that, your depth of the study like that. Yeah, just watch, maybe audio is not there. The base he has presented his PhD thesis, that is really, I think, incredible way for the confidence, the depth, the analysis which he has done. It is a part of the movie. I know that this is a movie part, but in actual situation, when you are presenting your research, when you are defending your research paper, research work. Maybe some of you are in the phase for completing your PhD work. When you are going to defend your PhD work, will you be in this going to defend with this confidence, with decency, with this kind of the logical validations for that? And if you see this particular clip, you can get an idea that what kind of the research work, what kind of the a research should be, how that can be completed, how can be presented. I recommend that everyone should watch this particular clip when you get some time, and trust me, you can get some kind of the inner sense that yes, what can if you are a very honest researcher scholars. Trust me, whenever you ask to present your research work or talk about your research work, you will get this kind of confidence in your presentation. If you have taken some pain in the literature review and critical analysis for your research work, this will be the things. Some of the acceptance for the research. Yeah. So after completing your research work, again you need to think that what are the different thinking processes or thinking elements of your editorial team. They have some kind of also a checklist for themselves. Some of the questions they can ask from themselves after taking your paper in his hand, that this paper has some right context, some new topics, some kind of a new presentation, some kind of the logical justification, conclusion. They will have some common, this kind of the different question that will be going to fluctuate in her mind, in their mind. When they will take your paper, when they will see your paper, and your paper will be analyzed from these are the different lenses, different eyes. If they can find that your paper is perfect on this particular thing, they can only then decide to read your next pages of your research. Otherwise, they can dump your paper at the moment for that. For successful manuscript acceptance, one important thing is that, like I mentioned, that your research work, one most important thing is, I think this is the one of the most important thing from my perspective. It can be different from your perspective, but your paper, your research paper should solve a big problem, and this message should be communicated to the editorial team that why your research is important and why, how, in what context your research work is contributing those things, and how your research work. And another thing is that, like I was mentioning, that your research work should be robust. Robust means when you have tried one research methodology to test your different outcomes, can you also test your research output in some in some other samples, in some other different set of the sample study or the research methodology? If you can do something like that, even if you can add those things in your research paper, that you have tested this particular outcomes in this particular condition and also in this particular condition, and based on all those things, that is working for that. Another thing is that, like for example, I mentioned that who was the first researcher scholars who have published a research paper on the nanotechnology in context of the application of nanotechnology in the medical sciences. When the editorial team is, surely I think when someone was reviewing that particular paper, surely he got a one insight that wider acceptance of that particular research ideas for a medical science field. Is your research paper giving that kind of message for that? Research paper have some kind of wider acceptance? Your research work should have a wider acceptance for that, because you have a desire to publish your research work in high impact factor journals, and high impact factor journals have a wider audiences. If your research work has not the wider kind of the application, wider kind of the impact, how your research work can be justified in those high impact factors, even when that paper will be accepted for you. They have accepted your research paper. Yeah, you will always feel discomfort. You will always not get that kind of confidence if your research paper is not getting good citation after getting acceptance in the high impact factor journals also. Many times, many authors actually, many good authors, many good research scholars are also working in collaboration with some other research scholars. They're trying to identify some of the scholars who can contribute, who can be a good author partner in completing a research work. Like for example, you are in the management subject, some faculty from Harvard University can be have a collaboration with you. Their author affiliations can be very impactful for you. Yeah, they can create some impact. You can maybe think that to collaborate with for your research, if it is possible, then publish. That may have some better chances for that. Another thing is that your messaging should be very clear. The one of the most challenge for the editorial team is that after even reading your complete paper, they didn't get the what you want to say. Yeah, like for example, he read the whole Ramayana and he didn't understand who is Sita and who is Ram, who is Hanuman, and that kind of condition can be, I think, so damaging for yourself. So whatever the story you want to say, whatever the messages you want to deliver to them, you should be very clear on that. One more thing, cover letter. Cover letter is a one important opportunity for you to connect with the editorial team members on very personal note for that. Yeah. So your cover letter should be very concise and very kind of the convincing thing that why you have written this paper, what are the important things. If you can justify in very few lines, that can create some curiosity to the editorial team to read your paper. Otherwise, maybe after, if your cover letter is not good, then maybe even they cannot take your paper for the review. They can dump your paper at the moment. So I think cover letter can be good opportunity for you, because I am again telling that reviewer has not time more than 5 minutes for your research paper. Maximum they can give 5 to 10 minutes, and I think 10 minutes, even 10 minutes cannot justify for a research paper who have 10 pages or 20 pages. So this is a best opportunity for any researcher scholar to write the gist, write the soul of your research, soul of the ideas in this cover letter, so that he can convinced to read your research paper. There is no guarantee that your cover letter is good, he is going to publish your research. No. But he can read your paper. He can be a good audience for you, good reader for your research paper. Most of the research paper is rejected because you are not convert the editorial team as a good reader. If you can convert them as a good reader by creating some curiosity from you for your research, you are in the win-win situations for yourself. Last topic, I will stop after that. So I think I have given one topic also to some of the things. I think some of the tips related to that. I think there is no tips, honestly speaking, because this is not a kind of the uh, very generalized work. This is very specialized work for any researcher scholars who are doing some research in some of the subject area. But I'd like to quote something maybe that can be influential for me. Like for example, when I have started my journey, yeah, at that point of time, even I do not know the ABCD of the research. Even I do not know what is the searching. This is my status for that. But within 6 months, I was expert on that particular searching technique and all the different kind of thing. And now the situation is that after a year, my guide was asking from me, Sanjay, I have to search on this, how I can do that. Means maybe you are at the zero level, maybe you are in the some of the most initial stage, and always feel that you are at the zero level. This is the best practices. You feel that you are zero level in your research and start from that. And then you will be able to grab all the most important concept. One important thing always remember as a researcher scholars that this is a principle of the geography, theory in the geography. Air flow from high pressures to low pressure. Yeah. Always remember this line. Air flow from high pressures to low pressure. If you will feel at the zero level, then all the information that is available in this universe that will start to flow towards you to empower you, to enrich you, to make you knowledgeable. But if you want to sit on the upper side, then air will not flow for towards you. That will go in different directions for that. This is the first thing I'd like to say that. And one important concept that is working even in the research, that is a part of the philosophy, जैसे जैसे जिसकी भावना वैसा वैसा उसका भाग्य. If you have some arrogancy and the and the kind of the ego that you are a very one of the best research scholars, one of the best learned man in your research field, trust me, you are going to damage yourself ultimately. Feel comfortable, feel humble for that. And one case study I always feel that I think that can be quite inspiring for anyone, for me also, that if you read the story of the Mahasi Valmiki, a great transformation. I think if you go in the list of the highest I means top reading literatures, that is the Ramayana. And this, if you see, who has written this Ramayana? Mahasi Valmiki. And if you go the background of this person, he was a thief, he was a robber. and he has not any background in the some of the academics. And you can see this person has written a book, literature, and now that is the everyone in India, and not only in India but around the globe. This is one of the most l- famous literature, one of the most famous, I think, literature. Are still even after thousand of the years, we are reading that particular literature. We are learning this particular literature. Still, people are not able to grab all the concept which I mentioned. This how this transformation has done. What kind of literature he has done? A person who is a thief, who is a kind of the person who didn't know anything, who is a kind of tribe person, converted himself in such a way that he became one of the finest author of this world. And you can know that the best part is that even he became a guru for the son of the Ram, Love and Kush. You can see the achievement of this person as a researcher scholars. Maybe at the starting a stage you are zero. You have not any background. You have not any kind of the research expertise. But if you understand how this person has transformed himself to write such a kind of the literature, I think you can also transform yourself to write a research paper which is not only accepted in the high impact factor journals, but that can be the most highly citable documents, not only in some of the your own research area, but the another research area also. That is possible. If I recommend if you can just try to understand some of the psychological transformation that has done in this person, maybe that can be good things for you. Another thing is that my recommendation is that if you want to make a publication in the high impact factor journal, the basic or most important secret is that improve your engagement with the literature. You are engaging with the literature like a in very arrogant way, in very ignorant way. Yeah? You know about the Mahabharata story, and when it has decided that now Mahabharata war is going to happen, then it is decided that from the Kaurav side, Duryodhan will go to the Lord Krishna to ask for the help, and from the Pandav side, Arjun will go to the Krishna and ask for help. You know the scene that you have just watched in the TV serials and the stories that the first person Duryodhana who reached to the Krishna home, and he reached there, he saw that this person is sleeping, and he got a thought in his mind, what kind of this person is who is sleeping, and how this person can be helpful for me, why I should came here to get help from this kind of the person. He was thinking about that. When Arjun came to this particular, he saw that Krishna is sleeping. He thought that my Lord is sleeping here. I should not disturb them. And he sit in front of his legs. Both person are coming for the help, but both has a different kind of thought process. Both are engaging a different level of the interaction with the Krishna. And what is the ultimate? That is the way. That is the point where the result of Mahabharata war has decided. Krishna became in the side of the Arjun, and he has given all the things to the Duryodhana, but even he got defeated. When you are engaging with the literature, are you engaging with the literature like Duryodhana, or are you engaging with the literature like Arjun? This is the point where your acceptance in the impact factor journal or rejection of the high impact factor journal will be decided. When you are doing the literature review by using any database, either the Web of Science or Procast or any other databases, the way you are interacting, engaging with those literatures or the documents, that is the point where you are making your life, where you are damaging your life. That is both in that. And trust me, it's my personal observation that if you are going to engage with those literature like Duryodhana mindset, trust me, you can try your all the best things. You will never get a publication in the high impact factor. And even you got a publication that will not get much citations from that. This is this is a very philosophical thing, but that is perfectly working. And that is one of the most important reason why many people are not getting able to get a publication in the high impact factor journals. You need to correct yourself. You need to correct the way of engagement with the literature for yourself. Another thing is that when you are trying to do some literature review, do not think that you are going to do a alien kind of the thing. As a researcher scholars, your role is just to make some improvement in that particular journey. It is kind of a relay race. Someone has already done research in that particular area. Now they have given your response, that thing has been passed to you. to take some 100-meter, 200-meter distance to cover 100-meter distance for that. It's a journey, continuous journey. But many research scholars think that they are going to do a alien kind of thing. That is damaging for them. If you feel that you are in the part of that particular journey and you have just transferred something to you that has come to you and your responsibility to take this thing to another level, that is the only thing you have to do. And that is the only perspective through which you have to do the literature review. Then only you will be able to understand the literature, the research gaps, which has been not done by your previous research scholars. You can also identify some of the research area where that can be improved, which can be a motivation for the new research scholars which are going to read your research paper. That is the right perspective for doing the literature review. Another thing is that when you are doing some literature review, you are doing the basic searches, advanced search. This is a traditional pattern for which you are doing that. And many times what is happening that you are unable to connect with the right set of the document. Now time has changed, many new technology, new technique has come. One important technique which we have launched on the Process platform, that is the topic page. Like for example, you are doing some research on the Apple company. And whatever the documents that will be available on the Apple company, you are getting all those documents in the one page. You are getting the definition, you are getting the classification system, you are getting all the scholarly journals, all the reports, all the magazines, all the different publications, all the newspaper, books, videos, whatever the different things that is available related to the Apple company, just by typing the Apple, everything is available too. This is a topic based search technique. This is a new technique by for searching all the document. Ultimately, what is the purpose for the literature? To connect with all the different sources of information. That is alone another topic. But due to but traditional searching pattern which you are doing, that is not able to connect you with all the relevant document for. You can try to just adopt these new practices for searching the document. I'm very sure that this can simplify your literature review workflow processes, and also that can help you in connecting with all the research intelligence that is available related to your topic. Again, I'm coming that quality of your research is directly proportional to the amount of research intelligence you are gathering from the different set of the document. And imagine if you are unable to connect with the list of those articles which are quite important, or maybe the list of the newspapers which are covering some of the important information of Apple, ultimately you are going to disconnect with some of the research headlines. And if you are not able to connect with the entire set of the research, and surely your paper will be not good. Your paper will be not very, I think, effective, or maybe you are unable to connect, generate some of the new ideas that can be important for that. Another thing is that when you are doing the literature review, first, whatever the topic you have selected, break your topic in the different components. Like for example, I have taken a literature review on the customer loyalty. For that, I have break down the different components on that, and then do the literature review on every component which you have created from your other topics. Many people are doing just literature review on the topic. They give the name of the topic in the search boxes, and you are not unable to connect with the right set of the document. Do this, do the literature review, and after that you can make Excel sheet and collect all the important document that is available for each component. Excel sheet, I'm talking about the Excel sheet. Do this kind of thing and then make a summary of your literature review for that. Yeah. One another thing that is a latest development in that, we have also launched a research assistant for the journal searching, journals article searching. And what is the benefit for this particular research assistant? That, like for example, if you are using any database, millions of the articles are there. And but for the literature review, again, your ultimate objective is to connect the right source of information. If you are putting your research question here, then the system will connect with all those important documents that is exactly relevant for your research question. And also system will give you a summarized answer of on that particular topic. That is a research assistant. Also, we are going to launch on the research for the books. Even you are reading the books, it is quite a time consuming process for that. But now, if I created some of the research question, you can directly search here and you can get directly a chance to connect with only that particular page where you are getting where there is information available for your research question for that. Another thing is that also we are going to launch, like for example, we are reading some research paper. It is always sometime, I think, general thing that we missed some of the important concept, but now we are going to launch a tool through which you can get all the research concept in the panel, and within a fraction of the second you will be able to connect with all the research concept that has been discussed by author, which is, I think, great support for the literature review. And one more important thing is that research question. Very, very important things for that, because your all research paper or research work is going to write on the research question. Yeah, research questions like a horse for you, where you are going to ride. And the expectations for the research question is that look inside me and understand me. Sit every time, even after completing your research paper, look into your research question. Make a practice to look very seriously, deeply your research question. Yeah, if you want to ride on a horse, you need to understand your horse. Then only you can make a successful ride. Otherwise, your horses can damage your everything. Yeah, he can make and break you. So it is important for you. If you have created some research question, you have created a horses for you. If you're not understanding, not looking, not caring your research question, your research work will never ever can be got better. Now I'm stopping here. If you have any research questions or any kind of the question, then you can just let me know. Or if you have not, then this is my email ID, contact number. If I can be any help for you in the future, you can feel free to connect with me or connect with the organizer of this particular program. And just I'm stopping here. Any questions, any things which you have? And again, I'm so thankful to you for the organizing team members who have organized this program, and all the participants who are here who have joined this particular session. I personally believe that listening is always very, very painful, but you have listened around 2 hours to me. I'm so humbly grateful to all of you that you have listened me very patiently, and I'm so thankful to all of you. Yeah, thank you so much for listening me. Thank you so much for joining this call.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajan, for your comprehensive and insightful session. I'm sure that your guidance has given all of us present here a clearer understanding of the complexities of the publication process. Now, before we move forward, I would like to invite Dr. Chitra John to deliver the vote of thanks. Dr. John's dedication has been instrumental in the success of this program, and we are grateful for her unwavering support.
Thank you, Satika. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Research Cell of BCIPS, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Sanjay Rajan, for sharing his invaluable expertise on the topic, publication process and criteria for acceptance in high-quality journals. Your insights and knowledge have greatly developed our understanding, and we are truly grateful for the time and effort you dedicated to this session. I would also like to thank all the participants for their active involvement and participation. Finally, a big thank you to the technical team and photography team for providing excellent support throughout the FTP. Thank you once again to each one of you for your participation and support. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow for the next session titled as Leveraging AI in Research. Thank you once again. Have a great day. Over to you, Sadhika.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, before we close the proceedings of the day, we would like to inform you that BCIPS Dwarka Institute is organizing HR Conclave titled as Charcha 2024 in an online mode on geopolitical dynamics, advancing strategies to sustain workforce diversity, equity, and inclusion on the 31st of July 2024, 11 a.m. onwards. This event aims to bring together industry leaders, academicians, and policymakers to share insights, best practices, and innovative approaches related to the theme, and would be a great learning experience for the participants. We would like to highlight that the participation is in the conclave is free of cost, with an e-certificate to be provided to all the participants. You can all register on the link provided in the chat box. To conclude the session for today, I would like to thank everyone for your active participation. Your engagement and enthusiasm are what makes this program truly special. We look forward to seeing you in the upcoming sessions as well, and we continue our journey towards excellence in research and publication. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day ahead, and see you all in the next session.
Thank you so much, everyone. Now all the participants can leave the session. Thank you.